With the mod release schedule really ramping up, it means that the amount of mods that are becoming available is increasing. However, this means that finding those real gems, those real diamonds in the rough, is becoming a little hard. Each week, there are less and less really game changing mods out there, but there are some really nice mods all the same. Let's look at this week's selection and see what I have picked out as my best mods of the week. The first of many shed mods this week is the American Midwest Truck Shop. This is a huge warehouse that allows you to store your vehicles as well as repair them. It's not too expensive for its size. It looks like it can indeed have solar panels and it will allow you to repair your vehicles. Not only that, this is more than big enough to be able to withhold the Nexat pack if you're looking for somewhere to store it with the ability to move away from it easily as well. I think this mod is fantastic and one of many rather large sheds that I've chosen this week. This is the American Midwest Truck Shop. What a sizable beast this is. It is absolutely massive, takes up a huge amount of room, has all of your power requirements and fueling as well, which is very, very handy. So you can add diesel to it if you so desire. And then you can obviously fill up your trucks here. It's got a beautiful little decorative area just on the outside. You've got all of your abilities. There are roller doors. You've got all your lights on the outside here as well. And then as you go in, you can see that you've got a full workshop and just a massive space. I do wonder whether this would actually be big enough to hold the Nexat, but I do believe it would be. If you roll it in under this way in transport mode and then unfold it into work mode, go over to a bay and then you could unload the module, go back and then go out, you would be able to store at least a couple of modules here. But other than that, any trucks that you may have, any maintenance that you may want, any easy access to fuel, it is all available from this workshop. I really like it. It's only 150 grand. It is an absolute banging deal and a brilliant mod to boot. The second of the sheds this week is the Metal Garage. Again, it allows you to have solar panels and change the color configuration. Also has some lights on it as well for nighttime. It is a little smaller than the American Midwest Truck Stop, but it's still plenty big enough to store your big equipment. I think these sheds are invaluable on your larger farms because some of the base game sheds and storage just simply are not big enough to house those big pieces of machinery. This makes your farm much more versatile and allows you to keep everything neat and tidy. If storage, however, is all you are after, then the Metal Garage is absolutely perfect. It has a large number of doors. Again, it uses the same hydraulic action to open them. It's got lights on the outside and is just absolutely mammoth inside. It is just a shed, however, so it only costs you £60,000. But honestly, if you want something that is going to just store all of your equipment quickly, easily, and neatly, as well as allowing you to change color and add solar panels, this really is perfect. I think this mod is fantastic for your larger pieces of equipment, and it's nice to see some storage for your late game equipment as well. This is an absolute bargain to put on your farm, and if you've got the space for it and the equipment for it, it is going to be undeniably brilliant to have. It's funny, but some of my favorite tractors are some that I will never ever use on my farms. I am a fan of using big equipment and big fields. However, there is something very endearing about the older tractors, and the Zetor 3011 Major is no exception. I think this mod is absolutely stunning. It gives you much more use on the smaller and base game maps because it allows you to play as an old school farmer. The styling is absolutely iconic. The versatility and the absolute amount of customization you get with these mods are fantastic, and I really, really like them. They come with tons of customization, are very, very cheap, and obviously have very little horsepower. If you're looking for an old school tractor, this one is really one that you're going to want to add to your farm ASAP. The little Zetor really is an absolute stunning piece of equipment. Living in the countryside, I often see these driving about in pristine and sometimes not so pristine condition. Seeing it added to the game as a mod in such high quality honestly brings a massive smile to my face. And there really is a lot of customization you can do with this little tractor. You can change the cabin, the engine setup, although it is worth noting that changing the engine setup doesn't actually change the horsepower, but what it does do is a cosmetic change on the side, so you can see the different badge changing here. You can change your wheel brand and the wheel setup. You can change the exhaust pipe. There is a lot to choose from. My favorite is the old one, however. You can change the hook, so you can have it on top, bottom, or both. You can change the axle from soft to rigid, which will, again, give you a visual change here. You can have it with or without mudguards. You can change the lamps on the front from old 2 to new. You can have extras without or a warning triangle or extra mud flaps. You can change the weights on the front as well. You can change the steering wheel from 1 and 2. And then you can change the main color, design color, grille color, and rim color. You can also add a license plate if you so desire as well. But honestly, with so many different customized options, if you are looking to run a very small old school farm, or even if you just want it as a decorative piece, this really is a fantastic mod that you should definitely be picking up. Next up in the delightful small and old school tractors, you've got the Farmall 1206. This beautiful little tractor is going to really, again, just add to that authentic feel as you decide to go for an old school playthrough. Whilst personally I will probably never use it, I love it all the same. A lot of customization, a decent amount of power for a small tractor, and not a bad top speed either. This is a mod that you're really going to want to add if you're deciding to do a challenge or an old school playthrough. Another classic old school tractor is the International Harvester 1206, the Farmall Turbo. Now, this does come with some unrealistic modifications to add to it if you so desire, or you can keep it as the old school gem that it really is. The engine setup starts at 95 horsepower, but if you really want to, you can put the 1206 Ultra Power in, taking it to a rather breathtaking 300 horsepower for something that's only going to cost you £130,000. You can change the wheel setup, you can have it with a cab if you so desire as well, with a canopy or just the ROPS. You can change the exhaust from the standard to the chrome pipe. You can have front weights on it if you so desire, and you can even add a front loader attacher as well. This really is a fantastic little tractor, and I absolutely adore the fact that you can change the engine in it to something so mind-bogglingly crazy that it just doesn't make any sense. The joys of modding. Next up, we have the Case IH Magnum 7200 Pro Series. This is a medium tractor which allows you to do more on your farm whilst keeping that old and authentic feel. It has a number of engine configurations, it has a number of customization options, and as you can see, it is absolutely stunning. I adore these old school tractors, as you know, and this just allows you to get a little bit more use for not a lot of money. If you are running an old school farm and you want something that is a little bit beefier, the Case IH 7200 Pro Series really is where it's at. It looks fantastic. It is really, really nicely done. And again, it's a medium tractor, so it's going to give you a little bit more usefulness on the farm. It starts with a 7210 Pro engine, but you can go all the way up to the 7250, giving you 261 horsepower. You get to change the wheel brand and the wheel setup. You get to change the work lights if you want them on or not. You can have fenders if you want them or not. You can have different decals, so you can just have the Case IH. You can just have the Pro logo, or you can have none at all. You can have beacon lights if you want, and you can go all the way up to 4. You can have a front loader attacher on it, which again always adds more versatility to your tractor, and you can change the color and the license plate. All this is only going to cost you £144,250 if you mess around with the additions that you want. Honestly, it's just stunning to look at. I love these old school tractors, especially when they actually have a use on your farm, because they have a decent power ratio, are not too underpowered for the equipment that you're going to be using or the size of fields you may want to use them on. Older does not mean weaker. The Massey Ferguson 4000 series allows you to have a large old school tractor on your farm without sacrificing too much of the power. It's a decent price at £140,000 and it will have 225 horsepower with a top speed of 30 kilometers per hour. This is a fantastic little tractor to add to your farm and it comes with a ton of customization as well. All of the tractors shown here today on your farm will really give you that old school vibe, giving you a really nice feel when you're working the fields. The little Massey Ferguson 4800 series is one of the first old school large tractors to be added to the game. It comes with a bog standard 225 horsepower, a manual and power shift gearbox, 159 litres of fuel capacity and 30 kilometers per hour top speed. It does, however, give you many options to upgrade and change the look and the feel of this tractor. It also reminds me a lot of the Case IH Super King in 22, which was one of my favourite tractors to use on the farm, especially even if I was using larger fields, because it was still useful. And this is no different. The price makes it really, really viable, and that old school authentic feel is something to not be sniffed at. If you do want more power, you can go all the way up to the 4900, which gives you 375 horsepowers. You can change your wheel brand and your wheel setup. Most people, of course, will be going with the twin wheels. You can have back fenders on if you want. And you can also go between 3 different exhaust styles to really customize the look and feel of your tractor. For ultimate versatility, you can have a tow bar or a 3-point hitch. Obviously, the 3-point hitch is going to be the most useful on most modern farms, just extending the life of your tractor. I really, really like this mod, and I love to see more old school, authentic tractors coming to the farm. They look fantastic. The quality is super, super high. And again, it just allows you to really role play to your heart's desire about what sort of farm you want. So there you have it. That was this week's best mods of the week. Lots of old school equipment, lots of really good sheds for your larger equipment as well. Just a shame there's no real big game changers. I'm still looking for mods that include a liquid fertilizer factory and other new productions for the farm with all of the new crops we've got. I think it's a real shame that there isn't more things that we can have yet. Something like a freezing plant or something, so we can freeze and store our peas in an authentic way. I will, of course, keep hoping for this, but for now, that's the best mods of this week, in my personal opinion. Let me know in those comments down below what your favourite was, and I will see you all in the next video. Ciao, ciao. Thank you.